this pandemic nonsense. It's good to finally get back to the... Oh crap, not again. Listen, if you need to escape, you don't need a boat. You just need to go to patreon.com/WassesCastProductions. For less than the cost of... Right. You know the deal. Again, patreon.com/WassesCastProductions. Just put those earbuds in and enjoy the...
Welcome to the After Credits Cast, the only film podcast to hold the throne of the Iowa Film Critics Association, and no noise monsters or former chairman can stop us. I'm your host and champion, AJ Waseska, and I'm joined by my co-host, Ryan Metters. And then, and this week, we have a special guest, Derek McDermott.
Hey! Hello.
Been a hot minute since we've had you on the show, buddy.
Almost exactly a year.
Almost. Well, welcome back to the fun Halloween season we've got going for us today. Before we introduce the movie of the week, just a reminder to everybody, you can follow us on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook. And Ryan, if they want to email us directly, where could they email us at?
They can email us at unnecessarily sadistic booby traps when there are fucking noise monsters everywhere you look at... Sorry. Got a little heated. That's evacstation@gmail.com.
Just a little bit. You can follow us down on your preferred platform of choice, from Patreon to Apple Podcasts to everything else in between. Links are down below. Just click the one you like and we'll go from there. Today's intro song is... Yes, it's Sarah, time again. I'm sure the editor picked a great song. I couldn't tell you what it is, but I'm sure they'll tell you when they edit this. And that's me, by the way, so I'll eventually tell you. Just calm down.
Thank you, Future Aaron.
Future Aaron is very upset with Present Aaron and Past Aaron because they never do their job. So this theme for this year is Revenge of the Sequel, where you go back to films that we've done before, but they're sequels. And today is no different, with 2021's release, A Quiet Place 2. Written and directed by John Krasinski, Jim Halpert, for those who know him that way, with additional writing credits to Scott Beck and Brian Woods. At the time of recording, the film has made a total of $248 million, which is just shy of double its cost. Theaters are, not still at full capacity yet here and there, but you know what? It's a shame because they're missing some quality acting from Gary Sundown, Blake DeLon, Zachary Gollinger, Scoot McNairy, a name I'm definitely going to mispronounce, Okiriete Onado Dewan.
Good job.
I don't know. Jamon Hunsu, Killian, or Cillian Murphy. I've heard it pronounced both ways. I'm pretty sure it's Killian. Noah Jupe, Millicent Simmons, John Krasinski, and Emily. No, I am not Invisible Woman. Stop asking me blunt.
I was sad to hear when that happened, but it also made amazing sense since they kept asking about a franchise she's not even contractually like would be allowed to talk about, even if she were in the midst of her husband's movie. Like, come on, guys, time and place.
I will say though, I still think she is great fan casting.
Oh, definitely. I'd still love to see them there.
No awards at the time of recording, because obviously it just came out and we don't know how award season's going to work going forward. So with that, Ryan, I turn to you for some fun facts.
Fantastic. We have... see what I did there? We have 3 fun facts for you guys this evening. First of which, Emily Blunt admitted that she was initially hesitant to join the project as she didn't feel like she could top the first movie. However, she was on board after she heard John Krasinski's pitch of the first bus scene. She also admitted that the first take of the scene is in the movie, as she was terrified in real life by the stunt, which the bus was coming at her at 40 miles per hour. That's rough.
Well, they can't.
That's spooky.
Well, they can't go any slower. The bomb's going to go off.
Yes. No, that's 50 miles an hour, dog.
That's 55
Ah,
miles an
damn.
hour.
I
Wasn't
think
it?
so.
I thought it
Or
was
was it
50.
No, I think Ryan.
No,
I
it
think
is. No,
50.
it's 50 because the bus number is
Yeah.
2525.
Yep, you're right.
Sorry, I had to go back in the annals of my 90s action film lore to pull that out. Anyway, next fun fact. On the Big Picture podcast, John Krasinski stated that he originally did not want to be involved in the sequel, but the producer convinced him to come over and pitch his idea to the studio. After 3 weeks, they asked him to write the story with the idea that directorial duties would be handed over to other filmmakers. Krasinski finally offered to come back as a director, jokingly suggesting that he was Jedi mind tricked into signing on to the sequel. I personally wouldn't let anybody else touch this.
Oh, no, not at all.
Because the first one was magic. How could you let anybody else direct it?
Now, I have heard rumors there's a third one potentially in the works, but it would have a different writing team.
Oh, it is. It's a planned trilogy. So yeah, there's the third one. I think it's only like 2 years from now. So be ready.
Why is everything a trilogy? We'll get into that. We'll get into that later.
You know what? You're right, Ryan. Why is everything a trilogy? Toy Story, Lord of the Rings, this. There's too many trilogies.
Hey. Toy Story's got 4. Thank you very much.
It doesn't
No,
count.
Toy Story is a trilogy. God damn it! The fourth one is not a
That
thing.
weird fourth one is in the same boat as that weird fourth Indiana Jones movie that they say exists. It doesn't exist.
Oh, we'll see with the 5th one.
Well, speaking of unnecessary trilogies, the third fun fact for the evening, excluding the cold open flashbacks in the start of both films, the events of the first film and this film take place over 5 days. God damn.
And yet for us it feels like a lifetime ago.
That's rough though. When you think about it from the character's perspective, like the entire world has essentially changed in the past 5 days.
Well, no. So the events so excluding the opening section, they're talking like from when so after the kid dies in the first movie and you get to the main plot of the first film, and then everything in the second film except for the cold open, that all's in 5 days.
No, I understand the premise. It's just like in the course of those 5 days, you have babies being born, you have family members dying,
Okay.
You have figuring out weaknesses of this fucking unkillable alien race that landed on your planet. Like, a lot of shit happened in these 5 days.
Kind of makes you wonder, how eventful all the other days were.
Apparently not. They decided to have a kid.
I mean, to tell me y'all couldn't have grabbed condoms on the way to the pharmacy? Come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, now,
to
be fair,
hey, we've got aliens that will chase us if we make any sound. Let's bring a baby into that because, they make no noise.
now to be fair, condoms do have expiration dates, so there might have been a reason why they did what they did, but...
Oh, damn. Okay. All right. Fair point.
Now,
They don't have that quick of expiration dates.
No, I know.
So it's in like the same year. I'm pretty sure they last longer than that.
Also, I gotta wonder, since they're in a
Yeah.
small town to start with, would they even have that much of a supply to work with?
Apparently, Jim's pull-out game is just needs more polish. It needed more work.
Oh god, that's awful.
As a denizen of a small town, I take offense to that.
Fair play.
Although my parents did have me in high school, so you might have a point.
That's high school. Their brains weren't fully formed by then. It's fine.
We don't need a condom in high school. We're invincible. Oh, wait. Anyway, let's do some initial thoughts real quick. So, I don't think this film's as good as the first one, but I still think it's an awesome, fun time. If you love the first one, you will probably enjoy the second, but there are some caveats we'll definitely discuss as the podcast goes on.
Okay. Derek, what do you think?
I enjoyed it enough. I agree it's not the first one. It falls into some of the traps sequels fall into. they show the monster too much. Where the first one, until the end, you didn't really see the monster a lot. You just kind of got the reactions to it and quick glimpses. Uh, but yeah, I mean, overall, I enjoyed it. It's nice. It's the perfect runtime for this type of movie. You know, it's only an hour and a half long. If it had been 2 hours, I might have had a different opinion.
They really know not to waste time in these movies. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're quick and to the point. I do like that. Like the pacing's on point. I agree with the idea that it wasn't as good as the first one, but I think that's primarily because the first one is really more it's more focused on the development of the family dynamic, and like really it focuses on the character work in the first one, whereas this one it's more on them both kind of rediscovering the world outside of their little bubble, but also fighting back against the aliens, so it's a different focus. I still really enjoyed it. I had a good time with it, and I think there were some points that were as emotional as beats in the first film. So I think it was a very successful sequel.
Oh, absolutely. We'll definitely dive into that here. But first, a word from our sponsors, and by that I mean the synopsis. Here we go.
What?
We begin with a cold open to remind us of a happier time when Jim Halpert was still alive in his small town of wherever this is, Berg. But everything changed when the aliens attacked. The town is beset by monsters, and we flash forward to present day, almost immediately where the last film left us. The remaining members of the family are trying to find somewhere safe to stay with the new baby. They happen upon an abandoned factory where one of the neighbors and Jim's friend happens to live. The Scarecrow. Scarecrow's family is dead, and he tells the Halperts they have to leave because he doesn't want to take care of them either. But Reagan, I'm gonna go Reagan, yeah. But Reagan, the deaf girl, has a desire to fulfill some kind of plot. Inspired by a radio signal that plays a song every night on Scarecrow's radio, she wants to find the source and use it to play her sonic device, on the air to disable all the alien creatures. Scarecrow tells her no. So she runs away. Her mom orders Scarecrow to find her. Scarecrow finds her and is convinced to do her insane plan anyway, after killing more aliens. They get on a boat, make some new violent friends, and then happen upon an island where people have been living peacefully since we learned these creatures cannot swim. However, one managed to get stuck adrift on another boat and is attacking everyone on the island. Oh no! Meanwhile, hours away, the mom is having herself a grieving session and leaving her irresponsible son in charge of a baby. He does something stupid because of causing one or more monsters to show up at their hiding place, and gets himself stuck in a dwindling air supply and no way of escape. The mom saves him, but honestly, she shouldn't have to. This kid he's just frustrating, and no amount of cool guy, I'm going to kill the monster moments are going to redeem that. Speaking of which, the other creature follows Reagan, Scarecrow, and the Island Man to the radio station. They want to play their jams on at. The Island Man is killed because we need to up the body count just a little bit. Scarecrow and Reagan administer the high frequency signal over the radio, allowing anyone to hear it to more easily kill the alien creatures that are near them. But will they get off the island? Will they reclaim the Earth? Or is there a bigger noise monster waiting for them down the road? You have to tune in next time, only on this.
You know, now that I hear the synopsis now that I hear the synopsis and I like really think about the ending, they absolutely have to do with it because they're separated. They have to go back and get the mom and the baby.
Yeah. They left some plot threads dangling. They have to finish. They have to finish raveling that sweater together.
Fuck. Oh, that makes me sad.
I mean, in all fairness, they could stop where they're at now and just let you fill in the blanks. Let your imagination run wild with the possibilities. A lot of good films can do that, and I think if they stopped there, they'd be fine. Now, I'm not saying the third one isn't worth making, but it might not be worth making.
Damn.
Hey, so I have a
Yeah.
quick question. Has Jaimin Hunsu just decided that he's just going to do 5-minute parts in movies now?
I was about to say, this is like the biggest waste of this actor I've ever seen.
Because he does it in Marvel too. Like he's in like 2 different Marvel movies, but he's just like these nothing characters.
So I know
in them.
he's the guy in Guardians of the Galaxy. Who else is he playing that?
He was in Captain
Oh, okay.
Marvel.
So that's actually the same character, though. It's just at different at just at different points in the timeline. That's actually the same
Okay.
dude.
Okay, so he's playing the same dude in both movies. But either way, he's in the movie for all of like 5 minutes in both of them. It's like, is he just like, I only want to work a
Well,
little
in his
bit now."
defense, he's the
I don't-
sidekick to Ronan, who's like one of the worst Marvel villains. So
Old boy gets defeated by a dance off. Come on, dog. Come on, man.
yeah. So what y'all think of the movie?
I have some
I
questions.
do too. Who wants to go first?
So apparently, I will. Since
Fair.
I'm jumping in.
Fair.
So it's an alien
Yeah.
invasion. Why would aliens land in a town of 800?
Well, so I assume
And-
we're just seeing one instance of the alien invasion. I have to assume there's more than one alien. Like,
No, I knew that. But I mean, if there can't be like billions of them. So if they're picking spots to land on the world, they're really landing in Podunk, Massachusetts, because it's got to be somewhere near the ocean. So I'm just going to use that.
I was say,
as
so this we are confirming this is like Massachusetts. Is that what we are?
well, it's got to be near the ocean because they basically walk to the ocean to get to the
I'm
island.
gonna look it up real quick. I actually don't know where this takes place at.
In regards to your point, though, I don't think the creatures are, or at least the creatures that we've seen, have been intelligent enough to actually. I don't think the invasion was planned.
So is it like a Starship Troopers thing, where they just got shot out asteroids?
That'd be my guess,
To-
because I mean that's
to
what
hit
that's
the
what you
Earth.
see in the midst of the baseball game. You see like some type of meteorite falling to Earth in the sky, and because these creatures are like stupidly fucking fast, even though the meteorite is crashing pretty damn far from where they are, like maybe 3 or 4 minutes after everybody decides, hey, maybe we should go home after seeing that, people start getting wrecked.
Or maybe we're just, looking too closely at a movie that maybe, if you look too closely, the plot threads kind of pull apart.
Well, so I think the issue more is they didn't really fully flesh out how the aliens are going to operate or work. They just wanted the big monster to scare people with in the first one. And when the second one came around, they
Yeah.
felt like they needed to expand the lore of where they came from. And they might have chosen a direction I wouldn't have gone with. For example, so these aliens are traveling from outer space. Now, are we for sure it's a meteor that crashes, or is it like a ship that's crashing? Either way, if they're smart enough to travel through space, they don't act very smart when they land on Earth.
Yeah. It's the same problem I had with Signs. If you're a great alien race that can travel through space, why do you land on the one planet that's like 75% of the thing that will kill you and rains from the sky? It doesn't. Neither one really makes
No.
much sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
If I were to redo the story of like where these monsters came from, I would have probably said like alternate dimension, like government agency doing something opens up a rift wormhole thing, basically Stranger Things, because it works well enough and you ask a lot less questions that way.
See, honestly, I feel like the deeper we get into the origins of the creatures and where they come from and why they're here and how they got here, it starts to tip more into the sci-fi genre as opposed to the horror genre. Not to say that the two are mutually exclusive, but I think the why of the monsters or the how of the monsters isn't as important as the fact that they are a very dangerous and violent piece that's now been added to the environment for people to react
Oh,
to.
no.
So I wasn't as like nitpicky about it. It's just like, and they see a meteor falling from the sky. Okay, so the alien shit's about to pop off right now. Let's go. And that's really all I needed.
Oh, no, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I'm just saying if you're going to do an origin story, you should probably pick one that makes a bit more coherent sense, or just not do it at all.
Yeah, I kind of would hope them to not do it at all. That's the one thing that annoys me about horror sequels. Michael Myers is scarier when you know nothing about him. And he's just a guy that makes random people to kill. Once you start explaining things, it becomes less scary, in my mind.
Well, another way to put it, and I think this will ring true for everybody here, it's kind of like Wolverine Origins, where the thing about the character that really drew you in was the mystery. You wanted to know, but they didn't give you enough information. They just gave you the breadcrumbs. The minute they tell you the whole thing, it all becomes so much less interesting.
I mean, I think that's less to do with like the amount of interest in Wolverine's backstory and just the utter dog shit that was Wolverine Origins.
No, the comic is pretty bad too, from what I understand.
Yeah, we're talking about maybe the worst comic book movie.
Quite possibly,
made.
it's definitely it's definitely top 5 worst.
Yeah. I mean, if we're throwing out like the 1980s Captain America or Fantastic
Oh, you mean
Four.
the ones that no one actually watches or remembers? Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. Well, have you? I've watched. I've
Fair
seen.
enough. Fair enough.
But
Last question I have about the aliens. This is more just a spitball curiosity question. So, do you think like people, older variants of aliens, are less susceptible to high frequency sounds? Like, so when you get older, your hearing gets worse, and you can't hear high pitches. So, do you think there's like an old enough elder god alien that like is immune to the signal and will be a challenge in future movies?
God, I hope not.
hearing aid alien? No, I think probably not.
I don't know. It'd be an interesting wrinkle. I'd be down for it. I'd love to see that kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe if Roger Corman directed it,
Ooh.
that might be the case. But no.
So I'm going to pivot to the family here real quick, because I've got questions up the wazoo for the family here. Number one, why did they leave Marcus alone with the baby?
It's called plot reasons.
Okay. Leaving Marcus alone with the baby was necessity, and that I understood because Reagan wanted to have her action hero moment, and the mom needed to get more oxygen and meds for the wounds. So like everybody else actually had to leave and do things that were necessary in their minds. That I understood. Why Marcus's dumbass left the hole is beyond. I was yelling at the screen the entire time. What the fuck are you going up there for?
The entire time
It like she said she was gonna be gone a few hours, dog. Just chill. You can't even walk right now. Just chill.
the entire time he was exploring, I kept hearing the quote from The Simpsons in my head where Lenny and the guys are watching Homer, and Lenny's like, "Okay, everybody, get ready. He's about to do something stupid." And sure enough, the kid fucking makes noises when he sees a dead body. Like, first off, this is not going to be your first dead body. Okay, you're 500 days into this, like, weird mutant noise dog apocalypse here. You have seen dead bodies before. You've seen people killed in front of you before. Okay, this is nothing new. 2, you're 500 days into this shit. You know not to make fucking noises in general. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, I was mad at him, absolutely, for putting himself in that situation. But I also know that, like, from a character development perspective, like, he is the coward of the family, and his arc is overcoming the fear that he's had, and that's really holding him back and leading him to do really stupid shit. So, like, it's necessary. It's necessary stupidity, I suppose.
the problem comes too, like if they all act great and don't break any of the rules and stuff like that, you don't really have a movie.
Yeah.
If everyone's just silent and no one ever makes any noise, the monsters never come. I mean, what's the movie?
If everybody's
So, like I said,
super
plot
savvy,
reasons.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know,
Plot
but like
reasons.
the original complaint I heard a lot of people have with the first one is how dumb some of the kids acted. And to be fair, yeah, they all had their dumb moments, but like I kind of hope they would at least make Marcus grow up a little bit and start, thinking a bit more about his actions.
Well, that'll be the third one. Now that he's killed one, it'll be the third movie. It'll be Super Marcus.
I don't know if I can handle that.
He also had a rough go of it this movie, man. He got caught in a fucking bear trap.
Which is why
I
I'm
was
wondering
so
why you
mad
even
at that.
leave the hole. Like, you can barely walk. Why are you leaving the hole?
I'm right there with you, but yeah, that's necessitated.
The plot necessities, the simple plot
Yes,
necessities.
the simple plot necessities.
We should get Baloo on record just singing that song for us. It'd be great. Okay, so is Reagan selfish for running off and trying to play a hero?
Yeah, she's also a teenager. So, I mean, brains are not usually in a high variety when hormones are also whipping around. She has an idealized version of her father.
She really does. Like, I'm not saying he's not cool, but like, holy shit.
So she tries to live up to him, tries to force Peaky Blinders to live up to him too. But
Great reference, dude. Great reference.
and he just wants to be left alone in his factory with his wife's skeleton.
Yeah, there's a part of me that hesitates to use the word selfish, but I think it is fair. I think it is fair to use that term because she's also taking the means to defend her family with her. Because it's like, if they get caught by a monster out in the open, there's no hearing aid feedback for her mom to use to kill it. So it's like, literally, she's like, it's not even a day. I'll just hop over and be right back. Nothing will go wrong as a deaf person in the midst of this amazingly hostile world where if I make a noise that I don't hear, I can be dead in a second. Don't worry about it.
I'm sure no one in battle will come across her path on the way there. Absolutely not.
Oh, bruh. So
Except
yeah,
the Gordon's fisherman.
Except just the Gordon's fisherman. Oh my god, what a throwback.
Like, are they just sitting at that dock, just like waiting for people to show up? Like, how many people could possibly be showing
Also,
up?
why are they
dock?
just sitting there at the dock? Like, why not just take a boat and leave themselves?
Yeah,
I think they were waiting for people so that they can take their shit.
But like,
because it doesn't matter if they can go out on the water to safety, like if they have nothing to survive on.
But like, it still beats being stuck on fucking noise monster like fucking paradise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, would you rather play cops and robbers with giant monsters around, or would you rather just go in the ocean and not have to deal with any of that shit? Bro, I'm all about going to that ocean. I tell you what.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, first of all, I do not condone their actions. Absolutely not. But if they are one of the people that already know that the water is kind of safe ground, then they know that people are going to be going after boats. And if they know that that's where people are going to be, that's the perfect ambush.
Oh, so they're the fucking campers that take away all the gear from the new players. I get you.
Yep. That's exactly what they're doing. They're fucking camping. They're just waiting for somebody to get one of these boats. And
God forbid they play the game like a normal person.
Yeah.
Okay.
no, and this is a portion like I understand what the movie's doing. Lots of horror movies do this, where you have the monsters, but then you're trying to show that humans are just as big of monsters when put in that situation. Unfortunately, I think it was done better in a different Cillian Murphy movie.
Oh, you're talking about crap. Yeah,
28
that's
days
28
later.
days, 28 weeks.
Yeah, well, 28 days is only
Yeah, he's not in
Right,
28
right. But I mean, the
weeks,
sequel
unfortunately.
does different stuff too. So I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just that's what they're going for. So again, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that if they know the water's safe and if they grew up in that area, they have to know there are islands
Yeah.
around there. Why they would just be sitting on this end of it?
Well, the other thing too, is,
Right.
and Ryan, I think we talked about this when we did Peninsula. It's kind of the same thing they had going on there. The zombies kind of took a back seat to just the other civilization of people being assholes to everybody.
Yeah, I feel like that's it's not entirely mutually exclusive, but yeah, I feel like the movie tries to do a little too much in that regard because the main gist of the movie is them trying to figure out a way to fight back against the aliens, and so it feels like, oh, but humanity's actually gotten much worse is something that should have been tackled in a separate story. But I also feel like humanity as the biggest enemy makes a really good storyline when when the story isn't focused on addressing like the monsters entirely, like when the monsters become just like a set piece in the environment and there's no plan to get rid of all the zombies, you know what I mean, in The Walking Dead. They're just a part of the world now, and so dealing with humanity becomes a much higher priority because they can't solve the zombies, so they have to deal with the other people. Like, that makes sense to me in terms of that kind of storyline. But if their whole goal is we need to save everyone by broadcasting this signal, shoehorning terrible human beings into it felt like it felt like just like it was an additional hurdle for them to deal with, as opposed to the main thrust of a much better movie.
Well, and I think some of it might have been to prove into Reagan's eyes that Cillian wasn't full of shit when he was trying to tell them, like, there are a lot of people not worth going around right now. And it also gives him a hero arc to save her as the new dad, I
Fair.
guess. Stepdad, Step Killian coming in.
Stepdad.
I agree with that.
I am no
do.
longer
I mean,
stepdad. I am the step crow.
Dad Crow.
Oh god.
No, but I think I also think it goes towards explaining the beginning, because in a world this hostile, where literally the smallest noise can invite your certain doom, you have to be a special kind of dick to lay booby traps. So it's just like,
Well,
the world's already dangerous enough. God damn, you're just trying
they
to get
did
someone
hint
killed
at
right
his
now.
military background to an extent, so I think that might be part of that. Maybe.
Yeah, and he didn't want those bad people coming to his. He may have set those up even when his family was still alive, and he was thinking he had to protect them from if he'd ran into the humans that were bad already. Maybe that was the setup for that,
Yeah, that's what I think.
and he just never bothered to remove them because that would be noise.
It'd be noise and effort, and why would I want to do that? I could just chill.
He doesn't even bury. I guess burying the wife would be noise too. Digging a grave. So
Just chuck her in the ocean with all the other dead bodies. It's fine. Dexter did it.
Oh God.
Cillian's not a serial killer. He's got two beautiful blue eyes for that, man. He can't.
Oh, he's totally a serial killer. I've seen him do it in Gotham.
And Red Eye, I guess he wasn't a serial killer. Red Eye.
He was close enough. Speaking of Scarecrow, if you were Emmett, would you have taken in the family for as long as he did, or would you have turned them away sooner?
Ow. I mean, if I was Emmett, I probably would have taken him in.
Yeah, or at least I'd like to think that I would.
Yeah.
I think he's gotta be feeling really really shitty because like literally like Lee's son is now like hobbled because of like traps that he set up. So it's like he was trying to do that to the like deal with the people that would come and take his shit, but when it's actual like familial like family and like friends that he knew in the past that wished him no harm or didn't even know that he was there, you gotta feel a certain level of guilt towards that. So I get that, but I think he was just full in survival mode, and like he was trying to cast off whatever humanity he had left. He still had it. Despite his best efforts, he still felt for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing to consider, too, is there was a point where Lee was alive, and he was doing the whole communication with the fires and everything, and from what I remember, it's been a minute since I've seen the movie, but from what I remember, didn't Reagan ask him why he didn't help? Because I think they even said they sent up, like, emergency fire or emergency signal to like get anyone to help out. And I mean, if they're as good friends as they are, and they're as close as they are, you think there would have been some kind of reaction to it.
Yeah. I think it was established in the first movie that he was sending up those he was lighting those signal fires like damn near daily just so that if there were any survivors, they could come to him, or like they could like they could find shelter, because they had a lot of space and they had a lot like they seemed to have a lot of resources. It's just that the first movie was really in a bubble, and they just did not recognize that until now.
Fair enough. Final family questions or character questions. Would you have wanted to see more Lee at all in this film? Why or why not?
Honestly, I didn't need it. I didn't need more of them, because it's the memory of Lee that not only is Reagan's driving force, but also kind of pulls Emmett out of his apathy as well. So I think his memory is a driving force in the plot, and so I didn't really need to see more of him. Just like his very presence was making people go along and giving them action. So that was enough for me.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't really need more of him. The flashback was enough.
I was sort of expecting another flashback later in the film, like just a short one where you see like Emmett and Lee talking about something and kind of maybe establishing them a bit better as like, as close as they are. But I don't think I needed it, but I definitely was expecting something additional just towards the end of it.
I wanted a flashback to see where they got all the sand.
It was a lot of sand.
Apparently they laid like three miles worth of sand from home to the town. How'd they do that noiseless?
Lee's been hoarding it for years. He knew this day was going to come.
Apparently. Yeah, all those people that built bomb shelters are probably loving it.
Well, assuming they made it to their bomb shelter, of course.
Yeah, well, they seem to have time.
I don't know. These things are fucking fast, and they've got a long reach.
Well, I have 3 final questions for you, and Ryan, this is where we get to the meta questions here.
Ooh.
So, number 1, do you think this film is making a commentary on class when you have an island of seemingly well-to-do people, while a bunch of small-town folk are struggling to survive?
Oh, man. Jesus. Swinging for the fences.
I mean, you can read that into it, as you can with a lot of movies. I don't think like they meant that in all likelihood. I'm not sure this movie goes that deep.
I mean, they typically don't ever go that deep. It's always kind of a fun thing to notice, like, oh, hey, this seems like a thing.
Well, then, they get theirs.
Fair enough.
As a large amount of them get murdered. But
I mean, I don't like it's not one of those things where there's a group of people that's actively hoarding resources or like keeping the existence of the island a secret. Like literally they're broadcasting, "Hey, come over here and find us." So I don't feel the people get a sense of comeuppance when the fucking alien shows up and starts running through people. I feel bad for them. So I don't think I don't think it's really a commentary on class per se.
I have a question about that. If they're just trying to invite people to their island, what's with the subtlety of just using that song over and over again? Can't you just get on the radio and say, "Hey, we're at silent"? It's not like the aliens speak English. You're not just say, "Hey, we're on this island over here. Just find a boat, come."
Maybe the ideas are...
That is a very valid point.
Well, maybe the idea is to get classier, more intelligent people to show up, because they could... If they just broadcast a message saying, "Hey, we're here," you might get those doc fuckers there. No one wants those guys.
Yeah, and then the minute the poor people show up, the aliens get there and kill them. What does that say for the message?
Right?
Poor people ruin everything.
That's the subtitle for today's episode.
Oh, the Irish showed up. There goes civilization.
This is a more lighthearted question. So how does this type of monster impact the role of pets, namely dogs, in this movie? And do you like this change in the usual trope?
Are pets even a thing anymore?
Dogs died first, I would think.
Well,
Yeah.
well, so yeah, like in the beginning of the movie, you did see that one dog in the truck just barking his head off like something was going down. I'm sitting here like, oh, this dog's gonna get it.
That dog is gonzos, man. That's the end of that one.
Yeah, my cat would also be dead. Because they can't keep quiet
So
either.
would both of mine.
Yeah, I'm not sure what would be like what's the perfect silent pet?
A fish.
Snake? A snake?
A snake or like a some type of lizard, like an iguana or a bearded dragon.
My protector, the watch fish, it saved me. It warned me by swimming around quickly.
Yeah. Although the motor on the aquarium that keeps the water aerated got you killed.
Probably. Well, I don't know. It's like a fan, almost like it's a constant like droning sound. And they may not notice that one as much.
Well, and there's no electricity either, so good luck with that.
Well, no, there's some, because they have to run the radio. They have to run those lights.
That was battery, wasn't it? Wasn't he using a battery and generator?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Final question. This is obviously a coming-of-age story for both the kids. Do you feel like they'll carry this into the narrative of a potential third film? And what kind of story do you envision going forward?
I mean, how many people are actually listening to the radio to get that signal? I mean, there can't be that many. They're just like, oh, I want to hear this one song over and over again for play it while there's monsters around that will kill us. So I'm not sure like how effective her plan is.
Well, I think the idea is that now they no longer need that one specific hearing aid, but rather any radio that can get the signal can now be an effective weapon against them. So I would say that the third movie is more than likely the humans try to fight back.
And then the hearing aid's battery.
I was just thinking that.
And no one runs, and all the Radio Shacks don't exist anymore. So.
Also, how does Reagan now hear? That was her hearing aid. She has to leave it there.
Ryan, hearing's overrated. I've lived.
My guess would be that they would record like a snippet of the feedback and then use that.
No, that requires someone with sound engineering skills or podcast editing skills. I don't think anyone there has that.
I think that was Jimon Honsu. Unfortunately, he passed away.
Well, of course he did.
Well, no, Ryan. I was gonna say
he was the one minority.
God damn it.
I was gonna say.
And it's a horror movie.
I was gonna say hearing's overrated anyway. She doesn't need to be able to hear. I've lived 31 31, almost 32 years, and I don't think I need to hear anymore. There's nothing you need to listen to at all that's worth listening to with your ears. Nothing at all.
That breaks my heart as a musician there.
Except this podcast. You should definitely listen to this podcast. That's the only thing you'd hear it for.
I mean, there's some days I wouldn't mind not hearing things.
Yep. Yeah, that's all I got for questions. Is there anything I missed that you guys want to hit up on?
Like, they killed that little girl, right? The bait.
Oh my god. Ugh.
Because I hope so.
I don't think she made it out, man. I don't think she made it out.
Otherwise, she's evil, like most children. So I'm all right with her death. In fact, I think she should be killed because obviously she was an integral part of their plan, and she knew it as she tried to kill my boy Cillian. So, if you haven't noticed, he's one of my favorite actors.
He's really good. He's really solid.
God, yeah, that scene in general was just menacing as hell. Like, just seeing, like the lead dude looking like creepily at Reagan and constantly looking back at Emmett, like as he took her stuff and then took off her jacket and constantly looking back, like, you know what we're gonna do, right? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, fuck this dude. Fuck this dude in particular.
Calling the noise monsters.
All these folks should die, but yeah, no, this guy specifically should get it the worst. And they did it without dialogue, primarily because like Emmett says a few words trying to get him to stop, but like primarily they do it with just pure silent malice. So they effectively made me hate that dude with no dialogue. So that's good shit.
I will give them credit. This is 2 films in a row where they did minimal dialogue, and it worked out really well in their favor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't imagine the script's longer than like 20 pages.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's got to be a little longer to convey action stuff. Like I know for the Marvel movies when they do Groot, yeah, he only says I'm Groot, but in every instance of it, they do include the range of emotions they want Vin Diesel to go with. So I have to assume there's something similar to that with this.
I find it funny that you think that Vin Diesel has a range of emotions.
He does a pretty good job with Groot. I want to give him that.
I'm pretty sure they probably had doing a whole lot of other things. Then it was Vin Diesel that came on. Like, well, better lessen this down a bit.
Wow.
You probably should never bring me on if you do Fast and Furious movies.
We'll see. We'll see. We might get there someday. At least do Tokyo Drift. That's a fun one.
Where everything's physics has gone out the window in the last 3 of them.
Pretty much. I think they like it.
Yeah, but every now and again you just want to go to a movie and see some shit blow up and see Hot Wheels toy cars fucking going into space for some fucking reason.
It's crazy because the first one's basically just road racers that steal DVD players.
Yep.
And the last one is X-Men.
Yo, don't drag my X-Men to this shit.
It's like, what the hell? Fine, Justice League.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that.
But, no, I mean, I thought this was a solid movie.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for a sequel. And like I said, the runtime helps. If it had been a 2-hour, 2:10 movie, I might have had different feelings.
Oh, probably.
That it dragged. But horror movies should generally be an hour 30, hour 40 minutes.
2 hours if it is a very deep lore kind of movie, but very rarely do I see that.
2 hours if it's Midsommar. Yeah. I don't. My favorite type of horror movies are the ones that build dread like that. Shining, Midsommar, Witch. Those can be a little longer because you're living in that dread.
Ugh,
but
God.
Monster movies, you need to just get to the point.
Well, before we wrap up with our review, I'd like to remind everybody we do have a Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook. You can reach out to us directly to give us your comments, questions, and let us know what Fast and Furious movies you want us to cover, if any of them, as well as other horror movies we should check out. You can let us know down below. Or Ryan, what is an email they can reach us at?
they can email us at KWF playing all the hits. Excuse me. No, that's evacstation at gmail.com.
Absolutely. So this is the part where we rank the film from platinum to trash and all the colors in between. Derek, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm gonna say gold.
Oh,
It's not quite silver because silver it would have more of the sequel mistakes, and this didn't fall into too many of them. But it's not platinum.
Oh no,
Like it's
not
not
at all.
perfect. So I'll go with the solid gold. I enjoyed it.
All right,
interesting.
Ryan, how about you?
Damn. Damn, because I was gonna give it a silver.
Well, Ryan, if that's how you feel, that's what you give it. Don't.
Well, I mean, I think it's because I think we gave its predecessor a gold.
I think we did.
And I
yeah.
don't think it's. I don't think it's as good as its predecessor. Again, still a fantastic movie, very strong. Like some of the emotional beats were hitting like really, really well, and the suspense they managed to keep ratcheted up, even though they did, like you mentioned, Dylan, show the monsters more and took a little bit of the suspense out of it. The tension was still really, really built, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's. I would say it's a top tier silver. Like it's just shy of gold, and that's only because I don't think it was as good as the first one.
I am gonna weigh in. I'm gonna say I'm probably gonna go silver as well. No hate by any means, but I think for me, the film tries to expand the scope of the world in some interesting ways that don't make a lot of logical sense, and that's not necessarily like faulting the film super hard. I mean, a lot of sequels do that, but probably a little more than it probably should have, and it brought in ideas that they didn't really choose to expand on, and it's good, but it's trying to do more than what it needs to in a lot of areas. And I'm thinking if you just held back a little bit here and there, it might have been up a little bit more. But for what it is, it feels like there's a little bit of extra flap to this film that isn't really needed. So,
yeah, that's fair.
But that is Quiet Place Part 2. Tune in eventually for A Quiet Place Part 3, the Electric Boogaloo. Next.
I thought this was the Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, I say part 2 should be.
No.
Electric Boogaloo.
Everything's like.
It's Breaking 2 Electric
So
Boogaloo.
what would 3 be then? You have to tune in to find out.
We're on the same page. I love it. I love it.
It's great. Thank you for listening, and we will see you after the credits.
Bye.
Bye.
All this